Good morning. Why am I up and dressed so early on a Friday morning? Well, today is the day that I go meet Kim for lunch, for our Christmas lunch. So, anyway, that's why I'm so dressed up. I would just like to say that I changed clothes, well, shirts. The jeans have stayed on, but every shirt I picked up, I would put on, I would look in the mirror, and I would think to myself,
what a wonderful world.
No, that's not what I would think to myself. I would think to myself, you're going to get hot. Because it was 43 degrees outside when I was trying on all my shirts. However, later today, when I'm actually out in the world, it's going to be 70. So all the thinner sweaters I was putting on, that's not going to work at 70 degrees. Because even though they're thinner sweaters, they're still sweaters, right? So at least with this, I'm layered. I can push these sleeves up, or I can just remove this jacket. Hey, I'll just go back to the 80s and tie it around my waist. Remember when we did that? Or was it in the 70s when you tied it around your shoulders? Or was that the 80s? Or did we do both? I don't know, but I know we did. I know we wore preppy little shirts in high school, and then we tied a sweater around our necks. Well, we didn't, because, when you're short and you don't have much of a neck, things like that really get to you. Yeah, so I don't think I ever did, but others did, yeah. The 80s were a weird time in high school because some girls were coming to school dressed like the ladies in 9 to 5.
I'm working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living, barely getting by.
Yeah, they would come all dressed in their A-line little skirts and really dressed up cute. And then there were those of us who wore jeans and t-shirts and flannel shirts. And then there were those of us who wore, same us. I remember having some little preppy striped, like a blue and, I think I remember this because it's in one of my high school pictures, but it was like a blue and white striped with a collar that buttoned down. Yeah. All I ever wanted when I was in high school was a pair of moccasin boots. Did y'all ever see moccasin boots? They came up to your knee and they laced all the way up. But two problems. One, they didn't come in a 5. Two, they come above my knee. Okay, and back then, that was not the style. I mean, today you might have boots all the way up to your thighs. But back then, they were supposed to hit right below your knee, like a normal human being would wear. Also, speaking of short people, look, I feel like well, I like to say I'm 5 foot tall. However, as we all know, when I broke my back, I shrunk. But as a person of the shorter variety, I feel like I can make fun of short people. Because you can make fun of your own people, right? I do. I don't care. Hey, I'll make fun of anybody, really, if you let me. Not in a mean way, but just to be funny. But okay, just get to the point, Tracy. I'm squirreling today bad, okay? Finish the first story before you tell the second story. Okay, so I was walking down the road, and Miss Tommy was out with Coco, and she had this little Hispanic dude. She's telling him what she wanted done in her yard, and Hispanics are not very tall people, generally speaking, okay? Which is why the lady in Payless told me to go to the Payless in the Hispanic area because they would carry 5s. What? What? Anyway, the point is, the little Hispanic dude that is at Tommy's house was running. He would run up to his truck, and he would get out, I don't know, it looked like bales of hay. And then he would take off running back down the hill to those beds that she has in her side yard. And then he would run back up the hill and grab something else out of the back of his truck, and then he'd run back down the hill. And I was standing at the top of the driveway watching, because my dog was smelling of individual sprigs of grass for very long periods of time. But I sent Tommy a text. I said, well, I would just like to say that the man running up and down in your yard is making me giggle, because there's nothing funnier. There's a lot funnier, but it's pretty dang funny to watch a short person run, okay? Myself included, because, you know, a person of a taller stature, they're more lopers, I guess you'd call them. I don't know, they got them long strides, whereas they take one stride, we're having to take like 15 to move that far. So our little legs are just like this, trying to get it. And that's what he looked like, because he was one of them people that all of his height was in his torso, and he had very short legs. So it was quite funny to watch him running up and down the hill. Now back to the squirreling. It's the dumbest thing.
I can't believe y'all watch my videos, because I am so random. But
I go walking down the driveway to walk Penelope, and I look up in a tree, and I see something with my little eye, and I kept squinting and blinking and squinting and blinking, and I was like, is that some sort of deceased squirrel on that branch? Because it was at the tip of a branch. It was about the length of a squirrel. It was kind of a grayish color. Our squirrels are grayish. Yeah, I kept looking at it. And I started walking that way, and I got directly under it, and I kept staring at it. And that's when I realized it wasn't a squirrel at all. It was like those bagworms. You know, those ugly little bagworms that they build a nest on the tip of a limb, and they're full of little caterpillar-y things. Yeah, that's what it was. But I thought it was a deceased squirrel that somehow died on the end of a branch. Well, my first thought was it got struck by lightning, but I can't tell you the last time we've actually had lightning. I mean, it's been months, because we're very, we had a lot of rain for a couple of days, but we haven't had a lot of rain for a couple of months. You know what I'm saying? Did that make sense? Anyway, and then moving on through the yard, I get to the tree that's between my house and the neighbor's house. And this squirrel is just cussing me out for all I am worth. He or she is coming down the tree. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Are you trying to tell me something? Is Timmy in the lake or something that we need to go save Timmy? Is your name Lassie? And it kept coming down the tree, and it got to the grass. Well, then my squirrel chaser saw it and took off after it. So it turned around and went back up the tree. But it stayed on the lower limbs fussing at me. So I started looking all over the ground thinking, did you lose a baby? You know, because I have found a baby squirrel before and brought it home with me because there was a hawk looking at it. Hawk. That's a funny word, isn't it? There was a hawk looking at it. Anyway, I ended up taking it to somebody who rescues squirrels. Anyway, I looked all over the ground and I did not see a baby squirrel that was causing the mother to have such trauma. But I said, okay, we'll leave now. And as we left, she or he was still fussing at me as we came down I wasn't coming down a tree. As he or she was coming down the tree and we were walking through the yard. Anyway, also, I told you in yesterday's video that I was working on untangling some yarn. I would just like to say for the record that, I mean, I did other stuff. I got my sheets washed. I got my blankets washed. I got not much else done. I sat in here on this freaking couch until 11 o'clock working on this yarn, and it still wasn't untangled, okay? And then I got up this morning and finally finished it. So it is now completely untangled, so Jethro can get a hat. I don't know if that's the next one. I have to name them when I see them, you know, with their eyes on. I think I just met my soul sister from another mister in the Belks. So I run in Belk because I don't need anything, okay? But I want like a lightweight, silvery gray shirt. I don't want long sleeves. I mean, it can be long sleeves if it's, you know, like fitted sleeves. But I'm going to wear this under a jacket. And the jacket is like a cream denim with silver sequins on the arms. And I just thought a little silvery gray lightweight top would be perfect. And I'll just run in, Belle can pick me up one. I went through the whole store and didn't find one. But there towards the end, this lady asked if she could help me. And I told her what I needed. And then this other person stopped her and started asking her all these questions. And neither one of us could figure out what she was saying. It was kind of like... And finally, the lady that was helping me said, "No, ma'am, we don't have that," and walked off. And I was like, what'd she say? She said, "I have no idea." Because that is exactly what I would do. All right, I'm here. I'll be back. Oh. That is all for this video. Penny, 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 Penny. We hope you enjoyed it. Remember, we love you. Jesus loves you. We hope he's coming back soon, 'cause people be crazy. Yeah. People be crazy. And I hope you've had a great day. Toodles, my noodles, and stay silly. Penny, 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 Penny. Can you tell them to stay silly? Yeah. Say peace out, man.